Hello, and welcome to this preview of Limelight's April 2022 issue. Violinist and composer George Lentz describes himself as a mad artist who didn't know what he was getting into when he decided to transform an abandoned water tank in a New South Wales mining town of Cobar into a sound chapel, with the help of Glenn Murcutt and experimental string quartet The Noise. Jeremy Eccles talks to Lent and Oliver Miller, The Noise's cellist, in this month's cover story, Serendipity in the Outback, as the musical marvel officially opens on 2 April. Sydney luthier Harry Vatiliotis, or Harry as he is known, is now 86. When he decided to retire, Romano Crevici, who has known Harry and played his instruments for 50 years, asked him to make one last final violin for a documentary. In our second feature, Harry's Last Violin, Harriet Cunningham talks to Harry, his wife Maria, Crevici and his partner, filmmaker Carla Thackeray, about Harry's career, his long-standing friendship with Crevici, and the documentary The Last Violin. Arrangements were vital for Beethoven, but where do altered scores sit in today's world? In our third feature, Making Arrangements, I explore the history of adapting musical works for alternate forces and discuss how the practice has become equally important today. In our final feature this month, When Legs Do the Talking, conductor, musician and artistic director of the Canberra International Music Festival, Roland Peelman, quite a walker himself, explores the history and joy of walking and its link to creativity. We also look at how walking has made its way into Peelman's program for this year's Canberra International Music Festival, opening on 29 April. Limelight editor Joe Litson interviews Leah Purcell about her film The Drover's Wife, The Legend of Molly Johnson, based on Henry Lawson's short story, which Purcell has written, directed and stars in. I interview Christopher Gordon and discover how the Sydney-based composer, who wrote the film scores for Ladies in Black, Mao's Last Dancer and Master and Commander, ended up releasing an album of his own chamber music spanning 36 years. I also talk to Elizabeth Anderson, manager of the Australian Chamber Choir, about her discovery of a cantata by a girl called Agatha, who grew up in the orphanage where Vivaldi taught, which the ACC will perform in April and May. As usual, there is plenty more besides. In this month's Playing Up column, Craig Hill discusses the basset clarinet, which he will play when the Australian Brandenburg Orchestra performs Mozart's Concerto in April and May. Peter Evans, artistic director of Bell Shakespeare, discusses his musical tastes in our My Music column. Lindy Hume answers 5 questions about this year's Four Winds Festival, of which she is creative director. And in our Sacred Cow column, Shamistha de Souza calls for an end to the cliches and hyperbole in concert advertising, saying that language matters. On top of that, in this month's Soapbox, Guy Noble argues that rather than sanctioning Russian music in light of their horrendous invasion of Ukraine, we focus on Ukrainian music and learn more about it. And as well as guiding us through this month's top recordings in his On the Record column, Limelight editor-at-large Clive Paget reviews Ian Maxwell's book Ernest John Moyron, His Life and Music, while Lyndon Barber reviews River, the new film from Jennifer Peedham and the Australian Chamber Orchestra. Enjoy!